welcome to Vinyl Hall Volume 71. Now, instead of showing one, this is all records I bought yesterday, well, Saturday, depending on when the video gets published. And because it's quite big, I've split it into two. So this is Volume 71. Next video will be Volume 72. I think it'll be easier to do it than Part 1 and Part 2. Anyway, rambling on, these were all records I purchased from my local record shop, and a lot of these were pound bin bargains, but a couple of others were in the other prices as well, which will be shown across two videos. But before that, I had to go and collect a package from my local post depot, and this is the Beatles vinyl collection series I've been doing over the past few months, and I picked up the next two, which is volumes 18 and 19. So volume 18 is Beatles on air live at the BBC Volume 2. It's a triple album set. This originally came out in 2013. It was basically after the success of live at the BBC, they managed to find some more unreleased performances and speech tracks which were recorded between March 1982 and June 1965. Sides 1, 2, 3 and 4 are the music. So, record 3 is the interviews that they had with each Beatle, and they're apparently quite interesting because this is around the time where they were starting to change, due to start recording Revolver. So, just interesting on perception. I've heard this before, the interviews before. I haven't played this yet, so I'm looking forward to listening to it. Great look. That's volume 18. Volume 19 is Let It Be, which was the final album to be released. Just before, I think it was just before after. So it was originally released in 1970. The album itself, it was part of the film. It was supposed to document a recording of the album, sort of record it in live performance, whatever. And it ended up being produced by Phil Spector. John Lennon basically told George Martin he didn't want any of that production crap on it. They did try it with Glyn Johns. While Paul McCartney was happy with it, Alan Klein, who was looking after the affairs, said no, so we brought in Phil Spector, and it sort of put a chasm because Harrison, Lennon and Ringo decided that they preferred that. It's well known that Paul doesn't like the version of Long and Winding Road on this album. Billy Preston appears on here. He sort of like came in just to sort of see if they could ease the tension. There was a lot of tension in the studio at the time, but it's well known. Obviously, it features "Get Back" as that's the closing song on there. It's not about. I've heard the album before, obviously, and I've got it in an original. So yeah, I'll be pleased to have got that. Just 4 records left now, so I'll get one package in December, which I think will be Beatles number 1s and Anthology 3, and then the final package, which will be early January, Beatles Blue compilation 67 to 70 and Past Masters. From the pound bin in the record store, I found Camels Rain Dances, which I believe is their 5th album. It came out in 1978. So first bit of Camel I've found, so I'm pleased to find that. Here's one for Lise. I know she likes this guy. This is Harry Chapin album sequel. This was the final album he released, recorded and released prior to his unfortunate death in 1981. This came out in 1980 on Broadwalk Records. 12-inch single, which I was pleased to find. This is Deep Purple, Knocking at Your Back Door, and Perfect Strangers on side A. Side B is excerpts from a Radio 1 interview with Tommy Vance, who at that time was presenting the rock show on BBC Radio 1 Friday night. TV on the radio, as it was known. So interesting little curio there, and it was also limited edition. So I've ended up with copy 1,346, probably hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of copies. You know, limited editions can be. Again, another band that I've not had got any albums for. I found this. This is Iron Butterfly. Now, this is Scorching Beauty. This came out in 1975. The band had split up prior to that, I think 1970, 71. This is the first album. They come back together. Well, not strictly come back together. Not everyone came back together. It's, I think, only, Ron Bush, he might be the only original that appeared on the MCA label. This is, I believe, a German copy of the album, said album. So, curious to see what this sounds like. This is Jethro Tull, again another Pound record, War Child. This came out in 1974, I believe. And this was the follow-up to Passion Play, which got roundly slated. And I think while it did well in America, this album I think got to number 2. Sales have started to drop off dramatically in the UK. It's an original. It's got these in it's an original chrysalis on the green label. Whoop. Need to get the glue out on that. And all these old records. Seemed a good idea to get the record out at the sleeve at the time. Right, that's better. There we go. Next record in this batch. I was in the record store and this guy came in, 2 guys came in with 2 boxes of records, which Pete, the owner, took one look at, and they were sort of going through, and some of the names were sort of things you'd find in a charity shop: Mantovani, Pinky and Perky, God knows what. And I'm thinking, well, I sort of, I won't get look too much because you're obviously going to send these guys away with a sort of fleeing areas, disappointing. Then he suddenly says, "I'll give you 70 quid for these," and I go, "Okay, fair enough." So they walk out with him. He starts sorting out the boxes, and he says, "I've got a load of Journey in here, and I've got a load of Rainbow." There was some Pink Floyd singles from a box set which seemed to be dissipated, which some other guy had decided to buy. What he had, and this was shown in a video I saw a few days ago. This is Journey in the Beginning. Now this is a double album. It came out in 1979, and this sort of celebrates the first 3 albums from Journey. This is pre-Steve Perry. I've got Look Into the Future, so I was aware that of these albums. So, and they say on the back, the music on these 2 records represents the foundation of Journey's infinity, evolution, departure. In the beauty of birth, one hears the genius, the gifts of Journey. Neil Schon, Greg Rowlett, Russ Valloy and Ainsley Dunbar seem predestined to come together. We offer these classics in the spirit and love and fire in which they were created by Journey for you. Okay. I think it's fair. You could sort of argue that you should view Journey as 2 separate bands. This period, pre-Steve Perry, and then post-Steve Perry. It's like Fleetwood Mac. You've got Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, and you've got the Buckingham Nicks era. They're just 2 totally different bands. I must admit, I'm glad to have got this. Looking forward to listening to that. Final record in this batch. This is Lindisfarne, and it's their album Back and Forth. Now, this came out in 1978, and it was the first album they released when the original lineup all got back together, and it does contain a hit single, "Run for Home," produced by Gus Dudgeon. Now the title, back and forth, sort of play on words, because this is actually the fourth album that the original lineup did. It's not the band's fourth album, but for the original lineup, it was the fourth album. It's mostly written by Alan Hull, and I've been reading. I haven't listened to it all yet, but I've been reading some of the comments, and some were saying that "Run for Home" is probably the best song that Lindisfarne ever recorded. It was a top 20 single for them, but there were some mixed reviews to this album. Didn't capture the spirit of the early Lindisfarne. So that's this vinyl haul. If you come across me for the first time and you like what you see, click the subscribe button. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Feel free to comment. I'll always reply back to you. So take care of yourselves, VC, and keep smiling, keep playing those records, and look after yourselves. So until next